Hi, so today we're going to go through research and inquiry in the civics classroom. And why don't we start off with a quote from Dr. Seuss? Wonder and think and wonder. So when students are given, like students like yourself, are given an opportunity to engage actively in curriculum that provides you with opportunities to be problem solvers. And when you're able to make important decisions, to be creative, to broaden your knowledge base, and to communicate your ideas, to consider different alternatives, and be thoughtfully reflective, you tend to flourish not only in school right now, but beyond school when you graduate. So let's look at the civics course that you're in right now. This course explores rights and responsibilities. And so what I'm focusing right now is the inquiry focus of the civics class. And it's associated with being an active citizen in a democratic society. In the course, you explore issues of civic importance, such as healthy schools, community planning, environmental responsibility, and the influence of social media while developing your understanding of the role of civic engagement and of political processes in the local, national, and or global community. What you do in this course is you're applying the concepts of political thinking and the political inquiry process to investigate and express informed opinions about a range of political issues and developments that are both of significance in today's world and of personal interest to you. And that's so important. It's something that you are interested in. So what are some effective examples of inquiry? Um, it's when, like in class, you're seeing like rich images, and by having these images, it leads to rich discussion, including where you have to think critically and creatively. And we're going to do an exercise later to demonstrate this. It also involves incorporating varied groupings and differentiation in presentation, product, and process. And it's also integrating your interests, your abilities, and your needs. And, and in class, having well supported questions, use of questioning as prompts. So there is not just, a yes no answer. And plus we have richer discussions. So inquiry-based learning it's a dynamic process where learners like yourself actively explore topics, questions, and problems that are connected to your own interests, the curriculum that we cover, in this case civics, or your community. So it's engaging and an authentic way for you to think, act, reflect, and think with and from each other. And this is a really important element, this cooperative element where you're working with your classmates. So I have this video, and so what I want you to do is, look at it using the Google slide presentation, and I'll put that on Google Classroom. But it's having you imagine a classroom of learners where there are opportunities for inquiry, and it's only a 1 minute and 9 second video. So inquiry-based learning, let's go through the process. It involves generating questions, solving problems, and this is very important too, is it creates new knowledge. Uh, so in order for our classroom to operate from an inquiry-based basis, the key is your curiosity and where you think from multiple perspectives and where your opinions are respected. And what I want you to be is not afraid to make mistakes. So what are the different types of inquiry? And as we go to left and right, and there's this gradual release of responsibility. So let's go through the first one, the modeled slash shared inquiry. And this is where I assist you through every step of the process, and where I as the teacher select content and questions, provide the resources. Now, on the next one, you're taking even more responsibility, and that's a guided inquiry. And so I direct you to some elements of the inquiry, and it allows you to drive the others. The, the one where you have the greatest responsibilities is the independent inquiry. And this is where you choose a question and design and conduct the inquiry independently. So we're going to look at our board's inquiry framework. So let's start off with the taking action and making sense. And it could be any of these three elements. So the first one is investigating and planning. So you got to think about what you need to look at, and what are the sources that you need. And once you do that, you need to analyze and interpret and make sense of it, and understand, do you need to go and do more investigation? And then the third one is organizing the information you have and connecting it to what you know previously, which is like your prior knowledge. Next is engaging and exploring. And so, and that is really key, is that um, this is the part where you use skills such as, um, if you're using Google, you're using operands like and or and so I have a presentation that and a separate presentation where I teach you how to do Google searches. The other is that I have a separate presentation too, where we talk about the issue of um, basically how you evaluate your sources. Next step is learning with and from each other, and that's the key. Is like where you discuss with your classmates and you do reflection, and by having active discussions with your classmates, it really focuses your views and and brings new perspectives, areas that you didn't think of before. So what are the 6 steps to getting inquiry started with inquiry? It's making the curriculum work for you, connecting the big ideas to the daily questions and interests that you personally have. So whatever your interests are, whether it's like basketball, or if it's like drama, or if you have a passion for fast food, I mean, whatever your interests are. It's designing learning opportunities, um, as a teacher, that encourage you to explore authentic, real life experiences based on these curriculum expectations. So in real life, these are things that have meaning to you. Now, so and what I do is I focus on making sure that I don't take over, and that I'm focused on what your viewpoints are and not just the topic itself. And so that involves me talking to you about ways of learning more about the topic. And I want you to think about, what do you want to understand more deeply? What big questions will you explore? What is important to know about this? And the key is that I slow down. I don't go so fast. So it gives you time to explore your thinking with each other while you listen and think about, you know, basically gives me time to think about what you're showing me, and let me reflect personally what to do next, because it's key that I consider your input to shape how I teach. Um, I talk to you, reflect on every day about what, how, and why learning is happening. What are we learning about this topic? Because we're in this together. Uh, we're co-learners. What are we learning about ourselves? What do we think and learn now? What does this mean for us as learners? So what's so key in all this is the reflection piece. Now, in developing inquiry lessons, what are the criteria for effective inquiry questions? Make sure that your questions are open-ended, and these are ones that you really need to involves you thinking and not just recalling or summarizing. And so the answer is ungoogleable. And the key here is that it's not just facts that you can find on the internet. It comes from your curiosity, and I want you to actually be confused and really and we, you will learn more as a learner when you struggle, and I encourage you to think of something in a new way, and involves you doing some more deep thinking for you to think critically, creativity, ethically, productively, and as I talked earlier about always reflecting and be critical. It's you need to look at it from a variety of perspectives. So let's do an example. So we're going to look at indigenous topics, and I want you to take a sheet of paper. On it, you know, divide into 4 boxes. One of them write down artifacts, the other quotes, media, and images. So I want you to take a look at these artifacts, and when you're looking at these artifacts on the sheet that you have, I want you to write down what you're thinking, what you're feeling, okay? And I also want you to write any questions that you do have. And so here are a number of quotes, and I'm going to just take a couple of them, and I want you to do the same exercise as you did for the artifacts. So here's a quote: "We have been pampering, coaxing the Indians that we must take a new course. We must vindicate the position of the white man. We must teach the Indians what law is. We must pauperize them as they say we have been doing." And this is a quote from 1885. So I want you to write down what you're thinking when you hear me say this, what you are feeling, and then and your thoughts and what questions you have. Okay, so that's just one quote. And I wrote other quotes for you to think about, and that's in the Google slide presentation. I want you to watch this video and look at this video, and then I want you to do the same thing as you did with the artifacts and the quotes. And so play this video, when you click the Google slide presentation. And then I want you to pick a couple of these pictures. So take a look at these pictures here. There are 7 pictures. And I want you to, when you're looking at picking 2 of these pictures, what you're thinking, write down what you feel, what you're thinking, questions that you have. Okay, so the same thing. And so the reason why we went through this process is this area we're looking at, in indigenous issues. It's to provoke you to have questions and get you wondering and get you to think and come up with your own questions based on, as we said earlier, artifacts, use of media, and the other two. Okay, so we're going to end the presentation right